All right, Greg, today we're talking a little bit about club fitting considerations and some of the things and trends we've been seeing with club fitting and how they actually can affect your swing and specifically affect your body and cause issues.
Yeah, and I think one of the most important things you always want to make sure is that your clubs fit you and that you're not fitting to your clubs.
Exactly. We see a lot of clubs today where people get fit in standard equipment or they get fit for their fault as well. And that can
or they just get hand-me-downs and they try to adjust to it, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about let's do a good example one. Probably the most common one we see is if somebody's early extending.
Yeah, so a lot of times when you get someone that has early extension, any of that kind of forward movement of the pelvis towards the golf ball, well, usually what happens is the handle raises and you can see the pitch of the club raises, the shaft raises. So a lot of times what they do is they'll take the club, they'll bend this, which is the hosel, and they'll make it more upright. That will change the location of your strike, make you strike it more in the center of the face. The problem is we didn't really fix your problem. We just made a club match your problem. So we always say
we made the club only work if you do your problem.
Exactly.
Right?
That's the biggest problem. So, we made your club work for your problem, not helping you fix your problem. Ideally, if you were going to fix it, we'd go the other way. We'd actually make this flatter, and we would get it to a point where you would hate it if you early extended, so that you would learn to move the correct way to solve the golf club.
I think it's important because a lot of us see, let's take early extension, a very common one, and we might see some videos and say, hey, I want to try and work on this, and they try it and they don't get success. Well, they might not realize maybe the clubs you have were fit for you early extending. Now that you're not early extending, you're actually not early extending the right way, but the club doesn't fit anymore.
That's right.
And the problem is now the club needs to be adjusted.
So this is very important because a lot of you will take lessons and you'll work with your golf professionals and you're on the right track, but you haven't brought in the club fitting aspect to the changes you're making, so you might not hit it as well, and all of a sudden you think that what you're doing with your golf instructor isn't working, when it might be that you actually are making a change, but you don't have equipment anymore that fits you.
Think about it. A good fitter's job is to make you hit it better right now. So they're going to try and match whatever works right now, but if you start changing your swing, think about this. We have the same problem on the PGA Tour, so what do? We get a trailer and we follow them around and we adjust their clubs every week.
We do,
right?
We do. And then the other one, Greg, is nowadays we see a lot of this with irons. Now, irons, everybody's been on this trend with clubs in general to hit the golf ball further. And one of the ways to do that is if I take my 7-iron and bend it and make it more of a 6-iron loft, well, yeah, that might give me a more stronger position at impact, and that might help me make a more penetrating flight. The problem we've seen is we've gone so strong in lofts that a lot of players look down and they see that there's no loft, and now what they do is they actually side bend and hang back on their backside to try and get that club back up in the air.
I hate to say this is where ego comes in.
It
A
does.
lot of people want to say, hey, I hit my 7-iron farther than my buddy Dave does. Yeah. So a lot of the manufacturers will just make the 7-iron stronger and you'll say you hit it farther, right?
That's right.
And that can lead to all kinds of issues.
It can. And what you see with the elite level players is a lot of them actually have weaker lofts, because what they do is they have proper swing mechanics. They get that shaft leaning more forward in impact, which makes that 7-iron de-lofted properly. So rather than taking loft off and you trying to help it up in the air, they add loft and then force you with a better golf swing to take loft off.
Let's do one more that I think it'd be bad for us not to mention. Dave, just point to your belly button.
Right there.
Okay, watch, it stands tall. If I put this here, notice on a driver, here's a standard driver, 45-inch. It's a couple fingers above his belly button, right? How many times have we seen kids come in here, right? And we give them, they walk in with the driver, right? And the driver is at their sternum.
Yep.
A lot of times what they do is you take dad's old clubs and you hand it to the kid and say, here, and the kid wants to hit the long ones.
Yeah.
Try one time, you as an adult, to hit a driver that's up to your sternum. You're going to be like, this is impossible, but we tell kids to do it all the time.
If I took that and I basically put it there, that would now be the length of my driver.
Right.
I don't know why I would have a flat shoulder playing and complain of wrist and arm problems.
Which is what we see with all of our kids, right? So important to make sure, like we said, that your clubs are fit properly, because a lot of the things we struggle with today, it's not your fault. It could be the club's fault.
It is. And one thing we say with junior golfers for sure is keep them in clubs that are as light as possible and as short as possible for as long as possible. Yeah. Because that makes their swing mechanics grow with them, as opposed to all of a sudden you put an implement in their hand that they can't control and you can actually ruin their golf swing.
Check your clubs.